I see. Alright, move that over. Alright. I hate it when the record button takes forever to stop thinking. Damn, a Crystal Maiden?
Oh wow. It's an early CM pick.
No kidding. Dude, record already, what the hell? Clicked it like 20 seconds ago.
Might be because I don't have it up. No, I don't know.
Sometimes it takes a really long time. I don't know. Whoa.
I'm not. This is like never before seen stuff here.
Yeah, for sure.
Whenever I've seen Darks here, like if you get Ags and stuff and have like a pretty high like DPS lineup, it's pretty bullshit. Like Ag Scepter on Darks here.
Yeah,
Especially in Dota 2, because you can't tell what's an illusion and what's real. Like Dota 1, you can actually know what's what, but Dota 2 is just like mayhem.
Yeah, I used to love playing Darkseer, especially before they changed his ulti, so you could do it regularly. I would just get like a refresher orb and just like double ult and then just run everybody through, and it's like 30 heroes. It's like how you're supposed to stop that. You just take a Rex. Unless they have an Earthshaker, then it's rough.
Yeah.
Alright, it's recording. Hell yeah, guys. Alright, this is Purge here. I'm casting with Gods, finally doing some co-casting because we actually have open observer spots, and we are watching Fire versus the Spin here.
Absolutely, guys. I'm Gods, and this is the Saturday, not Sunday evening, Cup Series, an American Dota competition, and looking forward to some finally Dota 2 action here.
Yeah, it should be really sweet. I'm actually familiar with a decent amount of these players. I've casted Coltem and Tides of Time many times in some Dota casting, some of the other casting I do. So I'm pretty excited to see what kind of talent turns up here. But it looks like they're a little different team setups than I'm normally used to. But very interesting game so far. We actually see a fast Crystal Maiden, Darkseer, and a Veno pick out of the Sentinel team, which is absolutely unexpected from my perspective.
Yeah, they've obviously got something in mind with this draft. I mean, First picking Crystal Maiden and then going into a Darkseer, this is something completely unexpected from my part, and not something you haven't seen a single competitive team really. No team has really used Darkseer. It was used a bit way back, ages ago back in the international, but since then hasn't been used at all, and being picked up this early in the draft when there's so many strong heroes still in the pool is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But we did see a Broodmother and a Night Stalker get banned, which I think is really, really adequate. And Lich and Anti-Mage as well. I think those are some of the best first-round bans. We've seen a ton of Night Stalker play in the last few months to extremely good effect. Like, very high aggression teams getting a lot of kills and just pushing that into the late game.
Yeah, absolutely, and the Dire picks the Chen, Ancient Apparition, Spectre, probably a lot more standard with their picks there. Chen has probably been the most popular jungling hero of late, and having a Chen against what looks to be a somewhat AoE lineup that the Radiant team might go for. I mean, they've got the Vacuum, which could set up some stuns or something like an SF ulti, so having something like a Chen which can get the mech up as well as the ultimate heal is a nice little counter to that kind of strat. And then having the AA Inspector with sort of the global damage can give them a really nice sort of ganking and pushing lineup.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm crossing my fingers for a Kunkka. I don't know about you, but how many montages have we seen that is like Vacuum, Kunkka stun with a boat, and then an SF ulti? Like, seriously, it's like every single montage. That's what you see. So that's what I'm hoping. Especially when they pick them up that first. That's kind of the linchpin of the strategy. Who's going to ban a Kunkka or a Shadow Fiend, you know?
Yeah, but it's been so long since I've written so many of those like epic Wodo moments. Vacuum, Kunkka, and then maybe even throw an SF on top of there or something as well. And it's been so long since that's actually been used, because I think Dota's sort of shifted away from that kind of AoE teamfight based play into more sort of hit and run tactics and just sort of trading towers. So you actually don't see those kind of heroes anymore. But if it can be brought back in Dota 2, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and even then, Kunkka is a very chancy hero, because you got to land that torrent, and it's not always very easy. So I think teams are a lot more into picking reliable heroes, especially with some of these lag issues. Now that we're doing international tournaments and stuff like that online, it is such a pain in the ass to have to worry about delay, and it's so much easier to just be able to click your stun on an enemy hero and know that it's going to hit.
Yeah, I think the other issue with Kunk is, I mean, whether you're hitting the torrents or not, he's not that strong a hero because he's not a very good carry hero, for one thing. There's far superior carriers, the Spectre, the Anti-Mage, the Void, the list goes on. There's heaps better carry heroes, and he doesn't really push all that well either. He doesn't really fit anywhere onto a team as far as winning the game. Sure, he's got that epic team fight combo with the Darkseer or something, but when it comes down to it, you have to be able to push, take towers, or carry a game, and Kunkka doesn't really fit into either of those roles very well.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. So the last bans where we see a Windrunner and a Storm Spirit out of the Sentinel team, both pretty standard. I think the Storm Spirit's a little weird, but Windrunner absolutely understandable. And finally, a Line and a Puck.
Yeah, nothing too unusual out of those bans. Seeing the Line and Puck bans, definitely trying to keep those sort of nuking heroes out of the Radiant hands with that Crystal Maiden aura that will be there. And looking at what they picked up here, we see Tidehunter 4th pick for the Dire, which I think will fit in well as a nice little support hero, so that basically shows that they are going to be having that Ancient Apparition soloing that mid lane, I imagine. The Tidehunter as the support for the Spectre, which could be problematic as that's 2 melee heroes in the dual lane, more or less. The Chen will obviously be jungling and probably supporting that lane a bit, but still, as far as the actual laning phase goes, they will struggle a bit. So maybe a concern there if the Radiant do decide to put an aggressive lane up against that Spectre.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like the 5th pick for the Sentinel team is going to be the absolute linchpin for their strategy. I mean, because we have a Rasta and a Venomancer, that's making me say push for sure. And not to mention Darkseer that early, plus a Crystal Maiden. I mean, maybe they're just going to do like a vacuum Crystal Maiden ulti or something weird like that, but so far, I feel like the Darkseer doesn't necessarily fit into their lineup really perfectly. So I bet they're just going to wait till the last pick there, so it's not really obvious, then the other team won't be able to counterpick it.
Yeah, I think that it's actually is it their pick now? Oh no, they're not. They have the last pick. Okay, I'm getting confused with the first pick. And they go the Slardar, so not exactly a hard push lineup. As I said, the Darkseer doesn't necessarily fit all that well there, but he is still a pretty versatile hero. The Wall, as well as the just being a very tanky hero, probably going to go for something like a Pipe, can just add a lot to any team fight. And obviously it's a hero they've probably been using a bit in the last few weeks, just in matchmaking games, and obviously rate as a viable hero in a competitive game.
Yep. Alright, yes, we can move our screen while the game is paused. Thank you, Dota2. Alright, Sentinel team, I'll go over the players here. Fluff and Stuff going to be playing Venomancer, Hannah Montana playing the Darkseer, Nova is on Slardar, and we have TC playing Shadow Shaman, and finally Splash playing the Crystal Maiden, and that's for Team Fire.
And looking at the Dire team on Team The Spin, we've got Tides of Time playing the Chen, we've got Sully playing that Ancient Apparition, Colt M playing the Weaver, Spectre being played by IX Mike, and the Tidehunter being played by Condoleezza Bean.
Huh.
So that's the Dire team.
How do you like this Tidehunter?
Looking at the lanes here, the actual look of it, or
yeah, the new model.
It's probably. I think it's pretty awesome.
Really?
I like the old one, but the new one's still. I mean, Tidehunter's probably just one of my favorite looking heroes in Dota 2 at the moment.
Yeah, I would completely agree. I don't really like his new one, to be honest. I thought both other ones were more than adequate. I'm fine with the anchor being thrown in instead of like the hook, but I don't really like the look of his face. It's all like bulbous, and I don't know. I like the other ones better for some reason.
Yeah. Like. Yeah, probably my least favorite here is still the Viper. I think it actually kind of reminds me of the Viper, where the Viper's mouth just looks like an empty pit or something. So this new Tidehunter, I mean, it looks a bit better than the Viper, but still looking pretty sick, I have to say. I'm pretty happy with what they have done with the majority of the heroes in Dota 2. Some do need a bit of brushing up on, but for the most part, it is pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So it looks like the Scourge team picked up the Weaver for their short lane solo, their bot solo. A little unexpected. We do sometimes see a Weaver as like a semi-carry long laner like that, and he goes for early game contributions, usually like a Vanguard and a Medallion. It's a much cheaper way to be able to make early game contribution. So I'm kind of curious why they did that. I mean, I guess they wanted a little bit more carry potential since they have a Chen, a Tidehunter. There's no semi-carry there at all. They would be relying entirely on the Spectre, so I guess for that reason it was not a bad decision.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be playing as the main carry when you have a Spectre, but it is just a hero that can survive in that bottom lane fairly well. But what they didn't really count on was the Slardar being picked up last. I mean, I don't know if Radiant... It looked like Radiant were almost deciding before they even saw the Weaver that they wanted to Slardar, because they literally picked it in a matter of seconds. So maybe they just really lucked it. Well, the Dire team got really unlucky with that Weaver pick.
Yeah, and I could definitely
going into a Slardar last pick.
And I could definitely still see something like a vacuum into a Blink Slardar. You know, that's a 2.5 second stun at level 4. That is obscenely long duration, and it's an AOE. Like it's in a lot of ways, Slardar's a little bit undervalued, but he is getting played a lot more recently.
Yeah, I think with the Darkseid, you just can't really consider it. You can't really look at how it used to be used with the huge AoE spells. You just have to any stun, whether it's the Slardar ultimate, sorry, the Slardar stun, not ultimate, Slardar stun, the CM, even just a bit of the Crystal Maiden ultimate, anything that with that vacuum is more than enough. Even a Venomancer nuke, which suddenly slows 3 people instead of 1 or 2. It is a very, very useful skill for any team fight. And we're going to have a little look at the lane here. It looks like Venomancer will be soloing that top lane. Does have those Plague Wards level 1 to do some scouting for him, but the bad news is those Plague Wards is some pretty much easy free gold for this Tidehunter with only 75 HP. They'll go down in just a couple hits. Yeah,
it's very satisfying to pick those up. About 13 gold, and at the mid game it's a one-shot, so I'm sure he's going to max those out first, but I do personally like this style of fast wards with the solo Venomancer. It gets him up very high, and if he does get decent farm, he can get into some supporting items really, really quickly, like an Arcane Boots mech or an Arcane Boots pipe, and that can really impact those mid-game team fights.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like he's actually switching it up. He's going to be playing as a support, and Darks is actually going to be the one at that top lane playing the short lane solo for the Radiant team. He's got a Soaring recipe first item, so going for a straight Soaring, which is a bit of a risky item as a solo in that short lane, because you're going to be taking a lot of harass, and as for how much he gets to use the Soaring is going to depend on how well he can farm up early, whether he can get something like a Vanguard up pretty quickly. And he's actually got Venomancer there, so it is a dual lane. In fact, what do you make of this dual lane here with the Veno and Darks here?
Well, it's going to be kind of shitty for the Scourge team, I think. I mean, as soon as Venomancer picks up his orb, that's going to be a lot of poison damage thrown onto the Spectre, and the Ion Shell as well on allied creeps is going to make him lose a little bit more HP every time he tries to CS, so I think this is pretty good for them. And not to mention the wards are going to be nice, as we just see now. It's going to scout out the Chen coming, which is going to mean Darkseer is much less likely to die, unless he takes a little bit too long to run back.
Oh, absolutely, and I mean Darkseer as well is pretty immune to Chen Gang simply because of the Surge, which, I mean, against the Titan and Spectre, 2 melee heroes, neither of which have a stun. They've got no stuns, they've just got a couple slows, they've got the Gush, the Spectral Dagger, and just a couple slows. Wow. Did you catch any of that?
I'm not the only one. I can blame you as well as me. Feel free to ping things, by the way. If I'm talking and I don't notice the kill, ping the shit out of it.
I'm watching top.
Alright, good.
Top's far more interesting than this bottom lane, but apparently not.
Yeah, they picked off the fast kill there against that Weaver Colt M getting picked off, and Slardar now level 2, or actually level 3, as well as that Crystal Maiden, so he must have made a little bit of a mistake there. I don't know how likely that would... I mean, he's still level 1, I don't know what happened there, but he did get picked off.
Yeah, just imagine a bit of a misstep by him, and that's going to be some nice early gold for the Slardar. I believe it was Slardar, was it? No, sorry, CM who actually got the last hit, so that's going to be some nice early Crow and boots for this Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, definitely true. They do have the ward spot or the pull spot, sorry, is warded, so Crystal Maiden won't be able to do any stack pulling to deny Weaver extra EXP, but he's finally getting some very much needed levels, popping up to level 2 here. And the mid lane, once again, is an Ancient Apparition versus a Rasta. Both of those two heroes are pretty even here. It looks like Rasta is a little bit behind on his bottle, and Ancient Apparition doing pretty good as a result.
Yeah, I think Ancient Apparition does have a slight advantage there, just with the Cold Feet Harass. Basically, whenever you want, you can force Rasta to walk away from the creep wave, but it is a pretty even matchup, and you'll basically... actually, yeah, Ancient Apparition going for a bottle, so not going to go for just straight into boots or tread, so he's going to be looking to take some runes and really control this mid lane.
Ancient Apparition a little confused. He was looking for a rune on the bot lane, but Crystal Maiden had already grabbed it. We may see an initiation here in just a second. Rasta just with 2 levels of lightning, so it might be a little troublesome to pick him off. He is up to 700 HP on this Ancient Apparition. Very high. It looks like he has 2 stat levels, actually. Yes, he does, indeed. Very interesting skill build.
And here is the gank as they get the 2 nukes from Crystal Maiden, the Shackle, a couple more hits, all they're going to need, and there we go, Crystal Maiden getting her second kill.
They definitely had to work for that one, though. pretty much every spell, yeah. Every single spell there was cycled to try to kill that Ancient Apparition. I really like that double stat level pickup. I think that's pretty smart. I mean, we see a lot of AAs oftentimes pushing back an Ice Vortex, just an extra level to get that little extra HP, and that's part of the reason that AA doesn't solo mid a whole lot. It's because he is quite gankable.
Yeah, I think it is one of those builds that as a solo AA, and if you're under the feeling that you're going to get ganked, but getting those stats points can definitely help out, and definitely give you an advantage in lane. Because in lane you're not going to be using the Ice Vortex; it eats up a lot of mana that you want to be using for the Cold Feet to harass. So getting stats instead definitely probably preferable as a solo AA.
Alright, and the bot lane continues to farm here with the Crystal Maiden and the Slardar. Both are equivalent levels approximately, and they're going to continue to harass. There's a chain stun on Coltem here, but he does go invisible with Scoochie. We still don't see any dust or wards from the Crystal Maiden. They might have been able to get a kill there if they did end up having something like that already.
Yeah, I think Crystal Maiden opting for the boots first. It is hard because generally in the first 5 minutes your solo mid hero or your carries are going to be needing the Crow more, so actually bringing dust or sentries on the Crow can be a bit difficult early on. It's one of those things you almost have to get at level 1, just because flying it out is not always possible.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Venomancer up to the Basilius on the top lane, and Chen is continuously just looking for a kill. Goes for the Penitence over the Test of Faith. Which is probably a pretty reasonable deal, except the slow's still, once again, it's another slow, and I feel like burst damage against something like a Darkseer might be a little bit better of an option.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got currently no stuns. They've got an Ursa which just has an added slow, so, I mean, one level of Surge and they can just avoid any incoming gank. And this Venomancer Darkseer actually have quite a bit of killing power on something like a Chen.
Alright, they're going to spot Tidehunter on the low ground. Darkseer is kind of in a little bit of a weird position. He will find the Tidehunter, but Tidehunter's only level 2 actually. He's going to continue farming these Venomancer wards, I guess, and Darkseer's going to head back up to the top lane. And if we look at the gold graph so far, we're actually in a 1,000 gold advantage for the Radiant team. They're apparently definitely out farming the Scourge team. It's partially because of that 2 kills, but that's only about half of their gold.
Yeah, I mean, this Spectre at top just not having an easier time as he would like. I mean, I imagine we will be seeing a fairly good time on that Vanguard, but, I mean, he has been harassed fairly well, and Darkseer has actually gotten quite a bit of farm just with that Iron Shell on creeps. So, right now, Dire team, they're going to have to hope this Spectre can get up a very fast Vanguard, and they don't lose too many towers. It's going to come down to who gets those first few towers and gets a big advantage from those, as to see how the flow of the game will go from here.
It looks like we have a little bit of pinging coming from Rasta, I think. He is now up to level 6, and we'll see if he goes for a tower kill. But I think the Sentinel team's going to stay put in their lanes for now. They're definitely getting farm advantage, as we just showed. And very good levels as well. Weaver's at level 5 on the bot lane. Just about to pop 6 here. He is maxing Scoochie first, so we may see a gank on the mid lane. It's going to be Tides of Time and the Tidehunter, the Chen, and the Tide coming in for a gank.
Yeah, they've smoked, and they've realized that this Rasta now at level 6 is going to be a problem here that they want to shut down. I mean, the Veno Darkseer, it's just 2 heroes that they can't kill, they can't do anything to it, and they're actually going to get spotted here, where this Venomancer and Venomancer dodging that Ancient Apparition ultimate will actually stay alive, and Ancient Apparition in trouble at mid. Rasta not going to get the kill though, the haste on AA barely managing to escape by the looks of it.
Yeah, very surprising. Venomancer's actually only level 2 so far. I'm very surprised about this. Here comes a little bit of a team fight. Spectre's going to ulti. Crystal Maiden going to get picked off immediately. Very good focus firing. Darkseer may chase after this, but I think the Sentinel team would be wise to just not. No, Slardar wants it, man. He's hasted up. He's going after somebody. Will he get the Chen? There's the stun on Chen. The amp damage as well. He's going to eat the cold feet, but I think he's just going to back up from this. And will Rasta get the kill? No. The hasted Ancient Apparition barely makes it out once again, down to 70 HP. And it's now 2-1.
Yeah, that was a very unusual team fight. Just the location of the team fight and how it went down, like, that was just bizarre almost.
Yeah.
Or the entire Sentinel team were actually at that team fight, and they did not get a single kill. So a lot of wasted time for them. Meanwhile, Weaver actually did get some time to catch up at the bottom lane, get some farm and levels as well, which is much needed on his part.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Let's look at some CS totals here. For the Sentinel team, we have 45 on Slardar, 30 on the Shadow Shaman, 13 on the Darkseer. That's about it for them. For the Scourge team, 43 on Spectre. He's actually not doing that bad. 23 on the Chen, 16 on the Weaver, and finally 21 on Ancient Apparition. The farm looks a little bit better for the Scourge team, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, having the pretty much high CS on the... Well, Spectre and Slardar are pretty much even, but obviously Spectre is the bigger hero to watch out for. But it's going to come down to the mid game. Slardr's more a mid game carry. He'll be shining around sort of the 15-minute mark, where before Spectre has a Radiance. So with a Rasa as well on your team, this Sentinel team can really put on a lot of pressure with Rasa plus Slardr. They've got the CM aura to spam. They've got the Darkseer who just gives them a lot more mobility. So their mid game is a lot stronger. Scourge is just going to have to constantly buy time for the Spectre to get Radiance, because until Spectre has Radiance, they just don't have the heroes to actually fight the Sentinel team.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be true. It looks like our AA still does not have any Ice Vortex levels. He's only at level 7 currently, and Rasta is going to ward this tower here. He's going to try to pick it off. He also has 2 illusions, which is always nice to tank a couple extra hits here. But we may not see the wards actually take off the tower. They may clear the creep wave, but that might be about it.
Yeah, it looks like it should go down. He's going to clear out the creeps coming in will be enough. Oh, well, the Sea Dragon going down, maybe not. It's going to go down. Whether or not it gets denied by the AA is definitely possible, though.
Wow. I cannot believe that. He didn't even try to last hit that tower, man. He was just tunnel vision on those Serpent wards. Wow.
All he saw was the farm from those Serpent wards, so...
Yeah. Not worth it, though.
Count the Rasta?
I'm sorry?
First tower down does go to the Rasta, which is going to give the Radiant a bit more of a gold advantage.
And he has some Arcane Boots now, so Arcane Boots plus the bottle, he's going to be doing a lot of casting in any team fights that end up coming up. A lot of his spells are so expensive, so it's going to be a very, very nice little benefit here, and he still has another 460 gold in the bank.
Haste.
Looks like the Ancient Apparition does get hexed here by the Rasta. Venomancer gets the Gale off, and that's going to be a guaranteed kill there. Very nicely done by the Venomancer. Spectre is going to ulti here, trying to pick off that Venomancer, but he is full speed, so it's not going to accomplish anything. And Spectre kind of wastes his ulti there. He was just farming on the top lane, but that's 110 seconds where he can't just like globally kill steal somebody, so it could make a big impact.
I mean, it's a bit of a, I mean, you could say waste, but I don't think it's going to matter too much for them, because right now they're just happy to have Spectre farming, and as long as this top lane is safe for him to farm, they don't want him to leave the lane for a team fight. They'd rather have a 5v4 team fight where Spectre just keeps on farming than have a 5v5 fight where Spectre maybe gets a kill but wastes sort of 2 minutes where he's not actually free farming.
Yeah,
because when it comes down to it, a minute of free farm is the same as a hero kill anyway, so probably not even quite as good.
Alright, Darkseer pushing a lot on the top lane, double Iron Shell, and there's a Gale on the Spectre. He's in a little bit of trouble, but he does have his Vanguard completed, so unlikely to end up dying from this. But he will continuously be pressured. Tidehunter Chen on the mid lane, level 5 and level 4, and once again this Slar CM combo back on the bot. Slar up to level 8, he has a Vanguard and Power Treads, and Weaver's got to be really, really careful here. Could definitely get picked off in a little bit of chain nuking from these two heroes.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to get that Vitality booster up as fast as possible, I imagine. Anything that can help him tank up is definitely going to be needed here against the Slardr CM combo. The amp damage not going to give him the security that he'd like from the Shikuchi. Really going to have to be playing it very, very safe.
It's like Venomancer on the top lane as well. Rasta is coming through. He's got his Serpent Wards up. It's going to be coming from behind. Looks like he's rushing a fast BKB. He does have that Ogrex, and there's the Surge on the Rasta. He's going to come and get a perfect wards off with the nukes. And there it is, the Hex and the chain damage going on the Spectre. He does dagger through this as the Tide shows up. A ulti will come as well, but it's not going to hit anybody. And it looks like, wow, Darkseer barely missing the AoE of the Tide ulti. And Rasta's going to probably pay for this with his death here. Maybe. He might be able. He does get the Tide Hunter before he dies. And the Hex. He's trying to escape now. Uses his last battle charge. He's got 20 seconds left for a TP cooldown. That's not going to save him. Will he be able to get the kill? He shackles, and that's it. Cold Feet will pick him off there. Very nicely done, though. He got a whole extra kill there. I didn't even think he was going to get that Tide Hunter.
Yeah, he went down fighting, and was quite fortunate that the AA ultimate actually landed a bit short, else he would have gone down a lot sooner. But that AA ulti missing and kept him alive just that little bit longer.
Yeah, and it looks like they're checking for the Darkseer in the top jungle, but he is no longer there. He got up quite fast, and Spectre TP is back and is going to continue farming. He does have a wand that is mostly full. He must not have popped that before he died in the last fight. I think he was disabled or something. Not sure.
Yeah, and Spectre going down there will slow down his farm a little bit, but basically the entire Scourge team just need to focus all their efforts. Basically, they're doing the 4 protect 1 strategy. They need to make sure their Spectre get farmed. They can't be worried about the Weaver's farm because Spectre is their key hero here. Whatever Weaver gets is just going to be added onto that. So right now, they've just got to all hover around their Spectre, find lanes for him to farm. If the entire Sentinel team comes top, Spectre just needs to say, screw that, I'm going to go farm bot, and Weaver needs to give him the farm at bottom because right now, the entire Sentinel team is actually at top lane.
And I really like that surge on the Rasta. It really gets him into position fast. Now surging onto the Crystal Maiden. It's going to allow him to catch up, and here comes the slow. There it is. It's going to land on Chen, and Chen's pretty much guaranteed to die here. There's the chain stunning, and Slardar will pick up that kill with his stun. He's going to back up, though. They're going to go immediately on the Spectre. Spectre, unfortunately, gets way, way too aggressive there, and will he get nuked down? He does actually get nuked down. He was trying to come from the back and help out his allies, and he absolutely got himself killed there. He should have just backed off and maybe even TP'd out.
Yeah, that was just a bit overly ambitious. Sort of a little bit of a instant reaction. You see your teammate getting ganked or in trouble, you want to go in and help him, but when there's 5 heroes there, that's when you just got to cut your losses and get out. So that kill is not going to be what Scourge are after at the moment, and really will set them behind, as right now Sentinel getting further and further ahead.
Venomancer getting very close to dying, about 20 HP there before he shattered, but he did end up surviving. Looks like a Rasta ulti. Will that pick him off? He's trying to get him. I don't think he's going to launch in here. He is chasing away from the illusion. He ends up surviving. Very nicely done. Good crisis management from the Venomancer. He's going to end up surviving. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I think Spec was tempted to reality in there, but no, it probably would have been the end of him.
Yeah. And
for a single kill, probably not worth it.
Looks like Weaver does have his Vanguard completed on the bot lane with a lot of stat items as well. It's going to boost up his HP. 1,000 HP on a Weaver at 15 minutes. That's pretty great, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what you need, especially against the aggressive Sentinel lineup like this. And Weaver's going to have to get involved fairly early, because if Weaver just keeps staying bottom lane farming, it basically means Spectre can't farm. They can only ever have one of those 2 heroes farming. And the last few minutes, it's been Weaver farming, not Spectre, and that's not what Scourge want at the moment. They want Spectre to be farming. They don't want to worry about this Weaver at all. And they're going to have to really make some space for this Spectre to get that relic up as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's definitely true. There's a little bit of counter warding that went on the mid lane. Looks like that sentry ward actually got used twice to pick off a ward. I'm pretty sure I saw Tide clear one out there earlier, and then they just finished off another one. So I don't know if that was a mistake from the supports on the Sentinel team, but it does end up going down. Slardar being really aggressive, trying to find the Weaver. He's going to find him, but he does Sakuchi 3, stuns. He's going to miss it, and Weaver actually with very nice juking skills there is going to stay alive.
Yeah, now the Scourge seem to be devoting a few heroes to defending this bottom lane. They've got a couple TPs coming in. Tide has ultimate, so does AA. And if Sentinel aren't prepared for this, may run into more heroes than they are bargaining for here. As right now they probably only see the Weaver, and the Tide is just sitting at that tower in fog. But it looks like Sentinel will just sit back, farm some newts for now, and wait before they do decide to push.
Ancient Apparition bottling up an Invis Rune. On the top lane, we still have that Darkseer trying to be aggressive. Double Iron Shell versus the Spectre. That is so painful. And he actually went for phase boots this game. Very interesting. It's going to increase his base damage. Darkseer already has a pretty good chance of last hitting, but he's trading any extra mana from an Arcane Boots for those phase.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, the Sentinel team Smoke going for a kill, but actually get counter-ganked. The big Tide ulti getting 2 kills for the Weaver, as we see Ghost Crystal Maiden and Slardar going down. They want more. They want this Venomancer, and Weaver triple kill.
Oh. And they're going to send back the Weaver with the Holy Persuasion. It's just in time. Very, very good job by Tides of Time there, sending back that Weaver right before he gets killed. And they may still continue to push this. Spectre just shoots the dagger through, and they may go on.
Rasta in trouble here. He will TP out, but with that, 2 of his teammates dead, he needs to just get out as fast as possible.
Yeah, is Darkseer going to be able to defend this? He does have the Soul Ring, but all he has options to are Vacuums and the Iron Shell. He does get picked off by the Gush, so a little too aggressive there in those. You know, his HP just wasn't quite good enough. He went for the double Ring of Regen before getting any of that magic immunity.
Yeah, and that's definitely a great fight for the Scourge team. Spectre now TPing top will be basically a free farm at this top lane for at least a minute or 2, depending on where Sentinel decide to push and pressure next. But that's going to give them some nice little catch-up time, because that's the first real big fight they've actually won.
And Weaver now has Power Treads finished, going for that super early damage potential. A Weaver with Treads is actually pretty capable. It's going to delay any other major items after that, but they're worried about getting Raxed sometime in the next 10 minutes. So this is going to keep him very, very able to fight in team fights. Venomancer just a Bracer now. Boots and a Basilius with a couple more wards. And the Sentinel team's going to try to take some more towers. They're losing their advantage slowly here after a team fight like that last one.
Absolutely, and they do look like they are gathering around top. They want to shut down their Spectre. They're not worried about the Weaver, and Weaver obviously not going to be going for a ratings with the Spectre on the team, but does have some fairly decent farm because he's been left alone the last few minutes. So despite that early first blooding and not having the best time at bottom lane, has actually picked up some nice items, but we will see some action at top by the looks of it as Chen and Tide are doing their best to give the Spectre some room to farm.
And it looks like they're going to be killing the Crystal Maiden on the mid lane. Slaughter TP's in, goes on the Ancient Apparition, but he's hasted, and there's a heal from the Chen. He's trying to pick him off there, but he's not going to be successful, unfortunately, for him. Colton backs off on the Weaver, going to swing, and now the Venomancer is out of position. Darkseer is going to leave him to die here, and I think that's going to be the end of the Venomancer in a short period of time here. Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
Currently we're having some problems with Link on Gosu Gamers. What is this? Just the embed.
Alright, Venomancer does go down. Yeah. Slaughter looking to stun on somebody. Chen creeps are going to be in position, but the Roster Ward's doing decent damage. And there's the Vacuum catching a couple heroes together. Slaughter wishes he was there for the stun on that. He's going to stun a couple creeps as well as the Tidehunter. A ulti will land on Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden throwing everything possible. And somebody just went down. Crystal Maiden apparently got shattered. Or no, Weaver picked him off. And he's very low on mana now, not going to be able to do any time walks or Sakuchis. He will have to go back to base. He does not have a Basilisk or anything like that. And he's overextending himself just a little bit here. He will back up now. On the top lane, Spectre is farming on the neutral creeps up to 1500 gold. He did get those phase boots with the Vanguard. And Tidehunter as well, with some wand and wards.
Yeah, those phase boots will slow down his relic a bit, but it's sort of one of those trade-offs. If he does think he's going to have to get involved in some fights, as he has been doing the last few minutes, getting those phase boots does give him a lot more mobility and added damage, so can be worthwhile, but will slow down that relic unless you do get some good team fights won because of them, which can sometimes happen.
Yeah, and that Spectral Dagger really isn't that much of a slow. Adding in the phase boots on top of that can really make a big difference in getting a couple extra hits off, and that's a lot of damage. If every Desolate here, he's got it skilled twice here, 30 extra damage every time he hits. That can make the difference in getting a kill on a weak support hero or not.
Alright, and it looks like Venomancer CM, they're heading up river. There's a lot of wards that they just keep continually walking past. I mean, you see wards at this top river here, basically running through river around this point in the game. You're basically more likely than not being spotted. You have to either go through lanes, use smoke, be a bit more sort of thoughtful about where you're walking through, whether it's going to be warded, because right now, giving away their position is just giving more room for the Scourge team just to pick and choose their own fights that they can do on their own terms, and keep this Spectre getting more and more farmed.
And he is getting pretty close to his relics from 500 gold since the last check. Crystal Maiden a little in danger on the top lane. Looks like that ward is perfectly placed. I think Crystal Maiden... is that the Scourge team? That was a Scourge ping, actually. They're thinking about going on him. They're not actually going to do so. The Sentinel team is swinging through the jungle on the top lane, and they may be looking to take this tower. They do have Shadow Shaman wards up and ready to go. Venomancer going to drop an Observer ward on the high grounds, can give vision to anybody coming to defend this, and Scourge team is surprisingly very centered around the Spectre right now. I think they're fearing a team fight.
Yeah, I don't think they've quite caught on to what is going on in this top lane. They will now. The ALT will get popped, but this tower should go down unless... Oh, there's TP's coming in. This could be a big fight here.
Tidehunter going to take a ton of damage. He's down to 500. He's just about to die here. Does he get his ult off? I didn't see that hit anybody there. Just hit a couple creeps. Really, really delayed. There's a nice wave and wall from the Darkseer. A couple chain stuns. I heard a heal from Chen. And the Sentinel team looks still alive, but they're a little battered here. Most people are at about a 50% HP right now.
Yeah, this is not quite going as well as they'd like. They have picked off two heroes, and this is going to see them chasing into more. Slaughter very low on mana. That Blink Dagger does eat into his mana pool at the moment, and with only a Magic Stick, doesn't even get the +3 intel from Magic Wand, is going to have a lot of mana problems at the moment, and he is going to need some Arcane Boots from his teammates to keep that mana up.
And they finally popped the Serpent Ward. It's surprising it took so long. The glyph is about gone, and will they deny this tower? The wards are not focusing, and Venomancer gets the last hit. Very nicely done by him. Slaughter trying to kill off that Ancient Apparition, but he will want to escape now. Wow, so much damage being done to him right there.
Yeah, and Weaver picks up another kill. Weaver with a Bracer, maybe. I'm not quite sure what he's going for with that. I mean, we already see a Drums of Endurance on the Ancient Apparition, I believe it was. Yeah, Ancient Apparition does have the drum, so... Picking up just a lone Bracer there, very late into the game. but has managed to pick up that one revenge kill there on that Slardar.
And Tidehunter very underfarmed as usual. Chen back in the jungle. He's got Arcane Boots, but still not on his way to either an Aghanims or a Mechanism. Does anyone on the Scourge team have a Mechanism? And Spectre is up to 2,900 gold now, still about 800 away from his Relic here.
Yeah, I feel one of the problems with the Sentinel team, they're trying to do this aggressive push strat and keeping pressure on the Spectres to keep them under farm, but they don't have any of their core items up. They need Arcane Boots, they need that mech up. Sure, they've got Arcane Boots on Rasa, but one Arcane Boots is proving to not be enough. Slardar's constantly out of mana. Venomancer, as soon as he pops his ultimate, gets really low mana, so we definitely need a second Arcane Boots on either the Venomancer or that Darkseer, although Darkseer with Phase Boots obviously can't get that anymore. As well as a mech up would have been absolutely essential either on the Venomancer or the Darkseer, or even the Rasa can go for a mech. They do need these sort of core items up if they do want to go with a aggressive pushing strat. They just don't have the mana or constant HP regen that they need.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, at the end of that first initial encounter at the top lane, everybody was damaged but not about to die. And then that ended up happening. We're going to need a D-ward here by the Tidehunter, missing yet another time on the ward. One more time, man, I've had this happen to me before, it sucks. Miss a ward like 4 times in a row uphill. But yeah, they definitely need an Arcane Boots or a Mechanism or something like that. That's going to make a huge impact, especially when you have a semi-carry like Slardar who's a strength hero. They always run out of mana really fast, especially with that Blink Dagger. And Arcane Boots can make the difference between winning a fight, but he goes in. He's going to jump on the Tidehunter. Tidehunter's going to run through the wall here, gets a good ulti off. Spectre's in here as well. We have BKB on the Shadow Shaman, Venomancer ultis, even an ulti out of the Crystal Maiden, but it looks like the Weaver's going to stay alive. His HP is just too high, and I think this is going to be the point of no return for the Scourge team, or for the Sentinel team.
Absolutely, that fight went all too wrong. Spectre now is 4k gold, we'll get that Relic up, and that was just a huge cost, and they haven't even taken this tier 1 tower. I mean, it may go down, it may get into deny range, but this is going to be the Spectre show very, very soon as he gets closer and closer to that Radiance. And with that teamfight 1, he's pretty much going to get... has a Relic now, pretty much going to get to that Radiance without getting killed or harassed, because they have bought a lot of time for him to farm with that big team fight.
Yeah, especially, I just want to point out for a second how good the D-warding has been for the Scourge team. I've seen them counter-ward so many wards this game, which just puts the Sentinel team even more behind, and like you said before, just lets them choose where to fight their fights. Nobody's going to get caught off guard if they're paying attention, and we're even going to see a smoke out of the Scourge heroes now. They're going to push their advantage, gank another hero, and maybe take a tower, which is going to get Spectre even closer to that Radiance.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can push a tower down now, that's going to be the difference between a 27-minute Radiance or a 30-minute Radiance. But they are just looking for some kills here, and they will find one at mid. Crystal Maiden in no man's land gets taken out in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, Tidehunter needs to get a little bit healed up here, but no Mechanism on the Scourge team as well. We do have cooldown on Chen's heal. And where is that Spectre at? He's just farming neutrals, man. Going for the safe route. Going to pick up Centaurs and other things. And Darkseer swinging in the mid lane. He's got a point booster, but still no hood finished.
Yeah, a lot of these Sentinel heroes are just getting more and more underfarmed at the moment. The Ras is doing really well, getting that early BKB. I actually feel getting a mech up before that BKB would have maybe helped his team out more though. The other big issue is this Scourge team just getting so farmed and so hard to kill. As soon as Chen hits maybe level 11, gets that Mechanism up, that's going to be very, very hard for the Sentinel team to kill any of these Scourge heroes with the Chen heals. Not to mention, was someone getting a pipe? No, no one getting a pipe, but they just are very, very durable with just the Chen on their team, who can also send heroes back to base who do get low, even mid-fight.
And if we look at the CS totals here, we have 155 CS on the Spectre, 86 on the Chen, 66 on Weaver, 79 on the Ancient Apparition, even a 25 on the Tidehunter, and for the Sentinel team, 135 on Slar, 124 on Shadow Shaman, 80 on the Darkseer, and finally 50 on the Venomancer. Wow, it's 9-16 though. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the gold graph as well, there was a 5k, more than 5k gold advantage earlier for the Radiance, but it's been brought back down almost to 0.
That's a pretty big difference for sure. ulti's going to miss the Crystal Maiden as he runs away here. He doesn't really have too much HP, so if he does eat any of those ultis, he will definitely go down. And it's pretty amazing that the Scourge team can now 4-man push here and be relatively confident about that fact. Tidehunter actually has his level 2 ulti now. It's going to do a little bit more damage and stun. There's going to be TP support on the bot lane. They will be able to deny this tower, I believe. I think, yeah, they immediately backed off. That was Slardar. Used his Blink Dagger to escape there, and that's going to be a tower deny. A little bit of gold for the Sentinel team, but not as much as it could have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Not quite a result they would have liked there, and you can tell this game is slipping out of their grasp, as they were looking fantastic early on, but their pushes and team fights were just a bit too sloppy that followed. And we're going to see a pipe up on Weaver soon, and right now there's just not much damage, burst damage that's coming out of the Sentinel team. They just can't kill any heroes or win any fights at the moment.
Well, he is making a pipe. Very good stuff. He's going to be so tanky. It's going to be really hard for him to die. And he still does pretty good damage. He's got 100 damage right now, just with Treads and Wand and some other measly stat things. Spectre also has his Radiance finished, so...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Weaver's one of those heroes. Just with, if you get Swarm ticking away and lowering the armor of heroes that you're attacking, you can actually do some decent damage without any items. Just being hit and run, being a bit of a nuisance in team fights is more than enough if you have another carry hero on your team, which is why he does get used a bit as that solo for that short lane up against some sort of carry heroes where his role is basically to survive.
Chen picking up his mechanism finally. Mech and the Arcane. It's going to be a really good team fight for them, and Venomancer on the top lane trying to stop the push on the top lane, or at least pressure, playing a pseudo Broodmother role right now, but he's still pretty easily gankable, but the wards are doing a good job slowing the push at least, and it's going to give the Sentinel team a little bit more map control and ability to roam around.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. This AA is getting very close to him. Will spot him, but Venomancer will be able to TP out in time before that Cold Feet stun does kick in.
And the pipe is finished on Weaver now. Scourge team is going to have virtually nothing to fear when they have their next team fight clash. There's just not enough AoE damage coming out of the Sentinel team, honestly. And in that sense, Darkseer still does not have his hood either, so that's going to make a big difference. He's still quite tanky. I personally really favor the Soul Ring Vanguard fast pickup on Darkseer, and then like actually just use Surge for your boots for a while. I find that works a lot better, but he kind of went for this weird phase boot Ring of Regeneration build. It's like he didn't really know what to build necessarily.
I'm not quite sure what he was thinking of the phase boots. If he was going to get some sort of upgraded boots, he should have gone for the Arcane boots, I feel, just as a sort of a nice team item, can help support the Venomancer. And what we're seeing here is Scourge playing it very smart. They're going to be going for the Roshan here, and up until now they've just been farming Ancients, just farming up Newts, avoiding any team fights, because they know they're in control of this game, and if they can get this Roshan here without losing any sort of big fight, they are going to be in a great position to win this game with relative ease and in the safest way possible.
And it looks like they did a lot of dewarding just in preparation of this Roshan, and just now we see a ping from the Sentinel team realizing what's going on. It's going to be a little bit too late though. This will get picked off. The only thing I'd like to point out is that Weaver is very low mana right now, 170 mana. It's going to allow him to pipe. Does pipe cost mana? It costs 100 mana, doesn't it?
Yeah, I want to say 100 mana as well. It is quite heavy.
Icon, huh. On the overlay, it doesn't have a mana cost, but I do believe it's about 100, so that's going to allow him not very much. He's like going to choose between a Swarm or a Sakuchi. Luckily his time lapse is level 3, so he will be able to ult no matter what, but if they did actually have a team fight there, that might have been a little bit of a iffy situation for Weaver.
He does have the magic wand, so pretty much in a team fight you'll get charges up pretty quickly on that magic wand, which would allow him to basically continually use spells there, so I don't think it would have been too big of an issue, but what we are seeing here is the Scourge finally deciding to apply some pressure of their own. They're satisfied with their farm, and will be going for this mid lane now. And there's just so little that Sentinel can do here. Yeah. And looking at their heroes, looking at their items, what options do they have?
Yeah, they can't even defend out there. They're a little out of position, but even so, they definitely don't have the power to fight on the low ground like that. They need to have high ground advantage. It's their only chance of being able to survive this. We're going to probably see a nice defensive wall. It's so good for defending Rax pushes, but there's still 2 towers on the top lane. I wouldn't be that surprised if the Scourge team just backs off, takes those 2 towers in the next 3 minutes, and then finally goes for Rax. That's a big gold advantage that they could easily pick off.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, Scourge are in such a good position here, they don't even have to go for Rax right now. Their time is not an issue for them. If they want to play this safe, they could back off. They can just farm neutrals, farm the Ancients on the both on the Sentinel side of the map, basically deny Sentinel any farm on the map by farming out their neutrals, their Ancients, taking their bot tower, taking their top towers, and then suddenly they get sort of 5-6k gold to their advantage, and their next push when they do go for Rax will be so much stronger and so much harder to stop. So really, if they wanted to play this smart and play a lot safer, they don't even have to go for Rax here, but with that said, they're so strong right now that we may see them going for that Rax at mid.
It looks like Slardar is in the Scourge Ancients. He's TPing back currently. He does have a BKB finished in his stash, so he just needs to pick that up there. Actually, no, he doesn't. I'm sorry. He's still 90 gold short, 85 gold short. He doesn't have that Ogre Axe unless I'm misplacing it somewhere. And we do not actually see it, so he's not going to have a BKB in a team fight, which is going to make a big difference. Being able to blink and stun while magic immune could be the difference between him taking that A ulti or that Slardar AoE.
Yeah, definitely a BKB will help just for the Tidehunter ulti if he does try to go in. The Tides is such a great sort of combo breaker. And here we see big action here.
Slardar jumping down. A lot of those Scourge heroes are actually very low HP. We finally see the pipe get popped. Rasta may survive. He does end up going down. Slardar's going to pick off the Chen though, so not absolutely one-sided. Scourge team making good use of that the wall of images, and Ancient Apparition going to get finished off by Slardar in just a second. I assume he's actually out of chase, but there he is. The Blink stun will pick him off, and now he may go head-to-head with the Weaver. Weaver's very low HP, and his mana is quite low as well, but I think, yeah, Scourge team backs off. They actually have a good team fight for the Sentinel team.
Yeah, the Slardar BKB came just at the right time. Used it just to go in, took out the Chen, followed it up by going for the Ancient Apparition, and Tidehunter with a very... probably ultied a bit too early and didn't quite hit as well as you'd liked, so did see him not quite used as effectively as possible. And that's where Scourge are probably thinking, hey, why did we try push that Rax? We had an advantage, we didn't need to take a fight like that, and that's going to... actually slow down, sort of not make their lead not as big as they'd like it to be.
Yeah, and the gold graph is exactly at 0. I'm not quite sure if it's updated with that last team fight yet, but look at that total gold earned. Sentinel team is in a 100 gold favor. That can make, man, that's the difference between a game. That could be like a tango in the middle of a team fight. Could swing the advantage in their favor, but Sentinel team gonna continue defending their lanes, and they're actually probably really happy about that. Scourge team now responding, and we'll see what they do once they all get back up.
Yeah, I mean, Sentinel will be happy about that, but you look at this Scourge team, Weaver has 2k gold. He's probably actually going to go for a damage item now, whether that's MKB maybe, or possibly just something like a Manta style. So definitely there are going to be a lot more problems coming Sentinel's way as this Spectre picks up his next item fairly soon, which is probably going to be a Heart, I want to say, with 2.8k gold. Probably going to see him pick up a Reaver, and with that Heart he's just going to become so much tankier and do so much more AoE damage with the Dispersion as well.
Darkseer actually does finish his Aghanim Scepter. He's in the jungle currently. May finish his Hood finally. Maybe a pipe as well. Would make a really big difference towards keeping his team alive, honestly, against a Tidehunter and that Ancient Apparition. Even against the Radiance damage, it can really, really add up quickly. A pipe is something that is absolutely my expectation for Darkseer to get after this. And that ulti as well, it's going to give a lot of illusions for the allied heroes and can really contribute a decent amount of damage to the team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty much almost somewhat unheard of to see a team not get either pipe or mech, especially against the Spectre, Tidehunter, and Ancient Apparition. Like those three big AoE heroes, it's basically screams you need a pipe and mech. I mean, pipe is just one of those items that people don't realize is actually a nice little counter to Spectre, even a Spectre with Radiance, because the Dispersion and Radiance damage is all magic damage, and Spectre with Dispersion does so much AoE damage when you get that Radiance and Heart up. That pipe is actually a nice little semi-counter to it. So definitely going to be nice to see a pipe up on the Darkseer after this Ag Scepter.
Spectre's on the top lane, farming is up to 800 gold. Oh my gosh, the Courier almost gets killed by a ward. Look at that, it's down to 2 HP. That is crazy, man. It came over and transferred items when it was out of HP. And there's the initiation on the Spectre. He's actually going to miss the first disable. There's the amp damage. He may ulti out of this. He is going to ulti. There's the heal from the Chen, and he's going to be sent to the bot lane next to the solo Darkseer. Darkseer is actually going to get scared and leave himself. And a nice way to get out of those ganks. Just got to use that ulti.
Yeah, that was a bad position for Spectre to be in there, but did have that ultimate to escape. And as mentioned earlier, this Sentinel team not that disable heavy. They have got the Rasta, but Rasta just wasn't there in time with the Hex and Shackle to stop the Haunt escape from the Spectre.
And it doesn't help either that Darkseer was on the opposite side of the map, completely away from any other allies. If you do a 5-man gank on a Spectre, he can ult, but it's not going to get him anywhere. And something like that can also make a big difference. So, unfortunately for them. Or maybe put him in Fountain or something. It's like, Darkseer, go back to your Fountain and stand there while we gank this Spectre. That would have been the best option, I think.
Yeah, if he TP'd before the gank.
Yeah, that would have been pretty sweet. Alright, looks like Weaver is in the jungle still. He's actually at 2,600 gold, still has not gotten his Reaver or anything like that. And Slardar farming the neutrals, still on his BKB. He's got buyback gold right now, which is probably what he's saving for. And Spectre will clean up some ancient camps, and the Scourge team just doesn't really, I don't know, they don't look very organized right now. They haven't quite figured out what they want to do yet. I'm a little surprised. They're just letting their Spectre continue to farm.
It's one of these things that good players who have semi-experienced but just don't have the top tier playing, just aren't quite good at. They don't know how to consolidate their lead and actually turn their lead into a victory. Like, they don't know how to close out games. They don't know how to basically push once they have an advantage. They go for those 5-man pushes mid, which basically, as you saw last time when they went for a 5-man push mid, well, Sentinel defended it fine. They got 3 kills and won a team fight, which now Scourge, after seeing that, are like, okay, that doesn't work. What do we do now? So they're kind of walking around a bit lost, not sure how to increase their lead. They could easily be pushing these top towers, this tier 1 and tier 2 tower at top, looking for some smoke ganks, just farming out Ancients, waiting for Roche to come back. There's lots of things they could be doing to be more organized about there and more efficient with their farm, which just isn't happening right now. But it does look like they are grouping up top finally, and we're going to be seeing this top tier 1 tower probably going down here because they've just too much farm on these Scourge heroes right now.
Yeah, it looks like they were just waiting for Spectre to pick up his heart here. He does have it completed. We have a little bit of pinging from the Sentinel team. Looks like they're saying defend the tier 2 tower. That tier 1 tower is way gone. There's a lot of wards in position. That's not going to solve anything at all. And in the meantime, the Roshan and the Darkseer are pushing the bot lane, and that's a very good plan for them. They may be able to trade a tower here. They will eventually give up here. I don't think we're going to see wards out of Shadow Shaman. He's probably going to save those for the defense.
Yeah, and what's something I'd like Scourge to do, they could actually have Spectre TP bottom and then use that ultimate to come to the fight. So if they want to defend that bottom lane, Spectre can easily TP, then haunt into the fight. And that is what we're going to see here. Spectre TPing bottom. We'll just defend this bottom lane and use that ultimate to come into the fight, which is probably a bit better because then the Sentinel team, they're not going to be unprepared and unable to deal with Spectre, who can pop up anywhere in the fight, and we'll be able to push out that bottom lane as well.
Yeah, and they're definitely not going to be able to initiate on the Spectre either, which is also a nice little advantage. The only downside is Spectre won't necessarily get the full use out of his ulti. It's so nice to be able to attack while you ulti everywhere. It causes a lot more confusion.
I think AA actually got sent back to base there by the Chen because he was something at Fountain.
Huh.
And Chen ultimate was actually used as well, so he must have got
Chen
caught out of
on
position at this top lane.
His creeps were all very, very low HP and about to get picked off by a tower, so did not want him to die. He's got pretty good stuff. A Wildkin plus 2 Centaurs. That's very good for lane pushing, that's for sure. And Weaver up to 3,500 gold now. Please buy an item, man. I know you can afford something. Unless he's going for a relic, which I would not expect at all.
I highly doubt that, but who knows? Divine Rapier? Spectre's got the Radiant, you can go for the Divine Rapier, who knows?
I feel like that'd be a really bad item to give to Slardar at this point in the game, considering he has that BKB and the Blink Dagger. He could kill people really fast.
No, absolutely. And Slardar probably going to be going for something like... he's got Slardar actually with 3.2k gold himself, maybe going to go for something like an Assault Cuirass next, just for the added nice little auras and added damage on from when they are fighting that Spectre. Yeah,
his HP is pretty reasonable. 2,200 is not too bad at all, and I feel like that would make a pretty good impact against Ancient Apparition, Weaver, stuff like that. Plus the amp damage. It's already minus 16 armor, man. Why not throw in an extra 5?
Yeah. But right now, Scourge, this is what they should be doing last time they had the lead. Just playing it safe. They're just farming up newts. You see Spectre farming Ancients, Chen in the top newts, one here at mid, and they're probably going to wait for that Roshan to come back before they do try actually push into the Sentinel base once again.
I did see some very good items on the Sentinel team. We have a Medallion with just Planeswalkers and the Drum on the Venomancer. He's pretty standard items, but this Rasta has a Mystic Staff now, may be going for either a Shivas or a Sheepstick, most likely a Sheepstick to shut down that Spectre in any team fights, and Darkseer finally very close to his pipe. He still needs 700 gold here, but like we said before, it's going to make a big impact. And we're going to see an Eagle Horn pick up on Weaver. He's going to go for a Butterfly. Yeah, definitely going to be a Butterfly. Probably not going to be any Throw Blade. But I'm sure Charms would be very excited if he was watching when that happened.
Absolutely, we'd be hearing about it for days, about how some pro NA player got Ethereal Blade on Weaver.
Yeah, that would just not work out very well. I wonder if it stops the bugs attacking. I don't know that. It's one of those weird mechanics.
You can use Ghost Sept. The bugs still stay on you, but they stop doing damage.
Gotcha.
I think you keep losing armor, but I'm not sure it doesn't like get rid of it. It's not like Indies where the bug suddenly disappears.
Gotcha. And the Scourge team going to pick up the Roshan here. The Wildkin is obviously in a position that this ward is going to make it obvious. Hey guys, we're Roshan, we don't want you to come past this tornado here, but it looks like the Sentinel team is not going to defend against that. They're actually pushing a little bit top. That is the Darkseer. This pause features ridic. Damn straight, dude. 400, 500 gold now for Darkseer. Dude needs to finish his pipe for the next team fight, that is for sure.
Yeah, he's getting close to it. Oh yeah, we'll have it soon. Looking elsewhere, there's Slider going for a Reaver, so he's going to be going for a Heart by the looks of it, and does have just the Heart, well, just the Reaver at the moment, so he does still need about 1,500 more gold.
Hey, have you seen Crystal Maiden's items? They're super good.
Oh wow, has a bracer though. I mean,
yeah,
I've seen Crystal Maidens without a bracer at this time before.
It's definitely
I've seen
rough.
Crystal Maidens without boots at this time before.
Really? Wow, man. I would just not enjoy playing that role. I mean, I love ganking and roaming at early levels, but the old 42-minute Crystal Maiden with boots and a bracer and a wand against some of these heroes like Spectre with a Radiance, it's just not fun. You throw your disables and you sprint, trying not to feed.
Well, the interesting thing is, you compare the CM to the Rasta. I mean, Rasta only has 400 more HP than the Crystal Maiden, so Rasta as well is actually very squishy at the moment, and despite almost having a Hex up, he's going to be very limited in what he can do in these team fights, because he's going to have to be so careful of his positioning. His team don't have those mechs or pipes up yet, which can help keep him alive. The only thing that can help keep him alive is going to be that surge from the Darkseer.
Yeah.
And that's going to cause him some definite problems in the upcoming fights.
And Rasta, a very low armor hero as well. He's only got 6 armor at a level 17. Looks like he is getting... he does actually pick up a Shivas here. He's going to fill that gap. Did not go for the Sheepstick. And in a lot of ways, this is a smart idea because the Weaver with those bugs is going to absolutely drop his armor to 0. And he's going to die in like 5 or 6 hits, tops. So the downside is he will not be able to Sheep gank the Weaver or the Spectre as effectively. But he does already have a lot of disable coming out of his hero naturally. So we'll see if this pays off.
Yeah, I definitely think Shivers is a better item choice than that Sheepstick. But as for how effective it's going to be, too soon to tell. I just think this Spectre and Weaver combo are going to be so farmed, and I mean even these Scourge support heroes are actually pretty underfarmed. I mean the Tidehunter doesn't have a whole lot. He's actually going to have a Blink Dagger at 43 minutes, which is probably more than Tides often have. But the fact is, a Tidehunter with Ravage can have a huge impact on the game. All Chen has to do is use those heals. Ancient Apparition has the drums. Well, he's actually going to have a Sheepstick up fairly soon himself, in about 1.5k gold. So really, there's just little that these Sentinel heroes can do against the items and just the teamfight abilities that the Scourge do have at the moment.
Alright, looks like Chen getting on his way to his Aghanim's 1200 away here. He's going to be popping that heal every 30 seconds, I believe. Am I right? Yes.
He's only 100 away from it. He's got a Blade of Alacrity on his stash. So.
I did not spot that. Very good. He's going to clean up these Ancients here, and that's going to be absolutely awesome for their pushing. I would love to see them take those last 2 towers, especially that top tower, 230 HP. Nobody's going to defend that tower if you push with 5. And Venomancer's still in the jungle on the top lane, picking up a point booster, trying to make his Aghanims as fast as possible. He's actually getting pretty close here, 1400 gold away, and Aghanims on Venomancer is extremely powerful, just really ups your damage.
It's powerful, but it's this late in the game it's going to do absolutely nothing, I want to say. But against a Chen and a Pipe on Weaver, it's just going to do pretty much, it's going to be, they're not even going to notice, they're just going to shrug off that damage more or less.
Yeah, that is true. It is very late, that's for sure. 45 minutes in, Aghanims, and he isn't even 16 yet, so that's also going to impede it as well, but it'll help, man. More than he could do before. Pretty much focusing himself as a medallion and drum of endurance machine.
It's not so much the fact that it's late, it's just the heroes and the items he's up against.
Yeah.
I just can't see it doing much at all. He's better off getting, I mean, a Force Staff or a Yules, or I don't know what else, but even like a Necro Book or something I feel would be more useful.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. I have not seen a Necronomicon on Venomancer before. I don't believe I have. That's pretty weird stuff, but it would work out pretty good.
Yeah. And Spectre has just bought a Mantisyle now as well, so wow, that's scary.
Alright, now he just needs to lose the Aegis and pick up like a Butterfly or something ridiculous, or a Diffusal Blade, and just absolutely auto-attack his way to victory here. Almost full items on him, more or less.
Yeah, he's probably going to sell those phase boots, get some boots of travel fairly soon, but pretty much unstoppable, and nothing on the Sentinel team will be able to take him down. They have got the hard up on Slardar. Slardar's going to be annoying. He actually won't do all that much damage. I mean, he might be able to take out the Chen or the Tidehunter, who are fairly squishy at this point, but he's not actually going to be able to pose much of a threat to either the Weaver or the Spectre, or even the Ancient Apparition.
And Slardar still pushing the bot lane, just waiting for the moment when he needs to TP. They will have a little bit of time where Darkseer does end up walling and vacuuming through, but there's the ulti from the Tidehunter. They're going to immediately go on the Roshan, and they pick him off before the BKB. Is he going to have a buyback? There's nothing yet. I assume he's dead for good. Weaver now diving, trying to pick off the Venomancer as well, and a lot of heroes running through the wave repeatedly, which may slow down the Scourge push just a little bit here. They will try to take off the tower, but that Ion Shell and Slardar coming through here, he may end up cleaning up. Going after the Tidehunter now, he's hitting him a few times, and he will not get him. Wow.
That Darkseer, that just shows the power of the Ag Scepter on Darkseer, getting it that early. You just can't tell what's going on in a team fight. It's Scourge. I've been up against that, and it's just like, what do you attack? You can't tell what's an illusion, what's real. You basically, the Spectre illusions as well just do so much damage. If Spectre goes through that wall, it's suddenly the push over. You can't push into those Spec illusions. So Sentinel holding on by the skin of their teeth at the moment.
Yeah, that was very close. Spamming as many wards as possible to try to slow this down. A ulti is going to hit from across the base and then immediately go on Shadow Shaman. Is he going to get his BKB? He's actually on cooldown here. The Weaver speeds past Invisible, and the top tower naturally fell to Creep Wave push. And that tower is so close to dying, man. What is it down to? 171 HP. Slardar is still kind of looking for an opportunity, but he's also on a cooldown for BKB, down for 10 more seconds. And this may be a very, very slow, gradual push. I think they're going to keep prodding like this. Once that tower falls, it's going to make a huge impact, and they will be able to run onto the high ground. And most importantly, Weaver won't be visible.
Yeah, they've got 20 seconds, 15 seconds now before that wall is back up on Darkseer, and with Spectre still having Aegis as well as Manta Style, Spectre should just be able to go and hit that tower, take down the tower, and even move on to the racks after that. And here we see action coming. Slardar popping the BKB, wants to go on the Spectre. Spectre's just so tanky, and the Dispersion's going to do so much AoE damage if they do focus him. And we'll switch target to the Tidehunter. Tidehunter, one more hit does go down, and 1 for 1 there as Darkseer is taken out. And without that wall, it is going to be very hard to... Oh, so wall was actually used, but not in the best positions here. And we are going to see this mid-racks going down by the looks of things.
Yeah, Spectre taking a little bit of damage here, but once again, he still does have that Aegis and that heart. Just needs to stop taking damage for a second here. There's a couple of nukes on the Spectre. Will Shadow Shaman get that kill? He's going to take some disables and back off. And Slardar going in. They're going to try to pick out the Spectre. Will they get him in time? They do actually get him before the Holy Persuasion goes into effect, and now he will respawn and go for a kill. Who will he dive on? Disabling the Weaver now. Weaver taking some nukes, and he's going to time walk out of that directly into a sheep. Will he drop? He does Sakuchi out. Finally gets out. The Sentry Ward is popped, but no ulti from Slardar. There's the stun. Andy, will he amp damage before he goes down? He does get it off. And a huge hit to get the last kill. 655 gold for that kill on the Weaver. Spectre, Illusion on the top lane, doing a lot of damage to the tower, but that's the end of the team fight. Sentinel team not doing as bad as I thought they would there.
This Slardar is just having some great team fight micro as well. He's just attacking the right heroes in the right places in all these team fights and going in at the right times and having a huge impact on these team fights. And a game that should have been over 15 minutes ago, Slardar is keeping this Sentinel team alive at the moment.
I don't see him holding out for the rest of the game, but I don't know. Spectre is just about as farmed as she will ever get. Anything past this is just kind of over the top, to be honest. But the Sentinel team's support heroes can still fill in a lot of gaps. They're adequate farmers. And what does the Scourge team have? They have a Tidehunter and a Chen who don't have the best AoE necessarily for farming neutral, so we may see a little bit of a comeback, but I'd be so surprised if they're able to pull out a win. Slardar's going to get another kill here. Going to find the Ancient Apparition. Just a couple of hits, just right-clicks that hero. Now picks up a DD. Will he go for another kill? No, the Scourge team will back up there. 2 heroes dead. Weaver's still gone as well. Sentinel team might be able to turn this into a push.
Oh, absolutely. Ancient Apparition does have enough gold for buyback by the looks of things, has 1900 gold, but just forcing that gold to be used so that he can't get up a sheepstick or some big item like that was definitely worth doing here. And it looks like they will gather up mid. The Venomancer at bottom, though, is not going to be with them at the moment, at least.
No new items on the Darkseer. We still have the DD on Slardar. Still has about 20 seconds left. Will he dive on one of these heroes? I think it would be very smart for him to do so. I know he's hovering on that blink button, and he will last hit the tower, and they're going to back off from this, I guess, even though their whole team is here. Venomancer does have his Aghanim Scepter finished. And
maybe looking for a pick-off. Spectre does have plenty of gold. Spectre, playing it smart, will have enough gold for a buyback, so he can go in and tank all the damage, and even if he dies, we'll be able to buy back in. Here's the fight that we've been waiting for.
There are so many ultis going off, pipes on both sides. Too many illusions to tell what's going on here. I'm just looking for green HP bars. Somebody's about to die. That's Darkseer down to 500 HP. Slardar is going to pick off the Tidehunter. He gets frozen. Tidehunter will survive. 50 HP here. Holy crap, he's going to even gush on him on the way back. No, he turns. Tide gets too aggressive. Gets picked off by the Slardar. Slardar needs to blink away, but he won't get it. Needed to get his heart to heal himself back up to full. But the Spectre's going to defend the mid push. I thought for sure they were doing good there, but it's so hard to tell. Illusions everywhere, man. That
fight was, it's one of those fights where it's just like, what is going on? I'm just watching my screen like, wow, I don't even know where to start. The Darkseer wall, as well as just every AoE ulti going off imaginable. And wow, that was, it looked to be a very tight fight, but Slardar getting taken out at the last second definitely did sort of tip it into Scourge's favor.
I definitely followed him a lot in that team fight. He blinked past, looked like he had a great initiation. I saw Darkseer get very low HP. I don't necessarily know what happened to the rest of the support heroes. Looks like they all died. Crystal Maiden, not unexpectedly, with only 1200 HP, ends up getting killed. I assume Weaver picked off those support heroes, especially with his Butterfly, and he does have a Crystallis as well right now. So, very understandable that he's going to kill all the support heroes very quickly, especially the Darkseer. Darkseer does have Blade Mail now, though, so you can have a little give back to those chases.
Yeah. Let me see, the third Roshan being taken out. Spectre with another Aegis has 6k gold as well, so probably going to get those boots of travel up, maybe even sell the Vanguard and make some kind of a big item instead of having the Vanguard there, whether it's a Butterfly instead of Vanguard. But just so much farm with the Spectre. And I mean, with this much farm, you may as well give that farm at top to the AA, who is getting closer and closer to that sheepstick and probably wants some buyback gold himself.
Yeah, it's totally hard to break that mentality, though. I'm the carry, I get everything, you know? He's got 6,000 gold. You don't need, like, you're totally right. At this point, you've got 6k gold in the bank. You're clearing a giant creep wave. Could give that to the AA. And maybe give him buyback money, you know? Quit stealing all the farm, man.
Yeah, exactly. And you click Spectre, it's like, well, what's Spectre actually going to buy? I mean, he's using up a slot with the Aegis. He's got those fates he can sell to make boots of travel, but he'll still have over 5k gold after getting boots of travel at this point.
Yeah.
It's just that Vanguard which he could sell for a big item, but even then he's still going to have a lot of gold, so not too big of an issue there. Meanwhile, Weaver is getting closer to that Daedalus, I want to say, not Baraiza, Daedalus.
Daedalus, I think.
Yeah, Daedalus. Okay, Daedalus. The crit.
Crit stick.
The big crit item.
Yeah,
crit stick.
I never
there's
call
sheep
it.
Stick and there's crit stick.
Yeah, and then Force Staff and Cyclone Stick and Egg Stick, or Ult Stick. I always call it Ult Stick. It's the best one.
You gotta dumb down these things for the viewers as well, or more importantly for ourselves.
We're just lazy casters. That's the best way to describe it, I think. Instead of having to learn how to pronounce these things. And we have an Assault Cuirass actually purchased by Spectre there. I saw him going through the items. He's probably going to drop the Vanguard. He's going to have just as much estimated hit points, I expect, with the plus 15 armor, that is for sure. And he's going to actually be up at a very high number. It's going to be around like 35 armor or something like that. Holy crap.
Yeah, there we go. He sells that Vanguard, and we'll pick up that Assault Crest in a second, I imagine.
And a Ghost Scepter as well. Somebody's got a Ghost Scepter on the way. It's a very good idea. I would say Tidehunter needs that, man. He is like the target to get dived by the Slardar every fight. It's like Tidehunter or Ancient Apparition, but Tidehunter is a little squishier. Only 1700 HP. And he does have the Blink Dagger, though. He's got pretty much everything he's going to need for the rest of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. He's pretty much set, and that's probably the limitations of this Scourge line, is going into the late game. A Tide and a Chen can't do all that much. Chen probably is a bit different, because Chen with an Ag Scepter can actually spam those heals a bit, but in a late game, as you get to sort of the 70-minute mark, I mean, those heals aren't going to do a whole lot against a 6-slotted Slardar.
Yeah. I would love to see like a Refresh Orb on Tidehunter, but I know it's just not going to happen. Man, that would be so cool. Blink, Tide, ulti, followed by another Tide ulti would be so cool. But we're not going to see it for sure. Weaver might get caught out of position here. He's going to walk into the Tidehunter. Will Tidehunter stun this? Will he blink? I don't know. And there's the Tide ulti. It's going to go on the Slardar. They could pick off the Slardar right now. He will BKB this. He's going to immediately turn. He's actually going to try to escape here. He's not worried about getting a kill, and he will haste as most of the path is gone there. He's going to sprint back to base, and that's going to keep him alive unless he gets creep blocked by the Darkseer.
Yeah, but the Tide ulti was used there, so
Yeah,
not going to be too worried about that. And I think he was actually going to live even without that BKB there, because a Tide, a Chen, and a Weaver, they haven't really got any slows or stuns between them. So I'm not quite sure what Tide was thinking, that he could actually kill. That he could actually kill the Slardar without either the Spectre there, basically, who is their sort of main damage dealer.
Yeah, they really don't have that many disables now that you mention it. It is definitely just Tide and a couple slows. I mean, we talked about this top lane, of course, but even in the late game, we're still talking about Cold Feet, which isn't always reliable once people start getting Force Staffs and things like that. And it's like a Tide Gush and a Tide ulti. That's about it. Maybe some creeps, but at this point, those creeps just die so fast to all the high-level heroes.
Yeah, they're very limited on what they can do in the disables department, and that's why a sheep stick on that Ancient Apparition would have been so useful here. But having a few deaths recently and just having nowhere on the map to actually farm at this point, or the farm going to both the Spectre and that Weaver, is going to basically mean he's probably not going to get a sheep stick up anytime soon.
Wow, we're actually going to see either a Radiance or a Divine Rapier on Slardar. He sells his TP scroll, picks up the Sacred Relic. He's got the money. Is he going to spend it, man? He's very close to getting a Relic. I think he might go for it.
I think he's got to go for it right now, because they are just pushed up against the wall here with the Aegis and Cheese on the Scourge team.
Yeah, that's true.
You need something like that Divine Rapier. And with 4k HP, he is going to be near impossible to kill. BKB as well. BKB is down to 5 seconds. That's the only worry. But when I say it's a worry, it's only a slight worry, because as we've mentioned time and time again, Scourge, what disables have they actually got?
Yeah, not many. Sentinel team organizing around the mid lane. Darkseer still constantly sitting around half HP. Actually doesn't have a Soul Ring anymore, which could prove to be an issue. Wall of Replica is 400 mana. That is a huge portion of his mana pool here. And not to mention all of his other spells, Vacuum 190, Ion Shell 130, and the Pipe is another 100. That could really, really drain him here. I feel like he may need to get a Sheepstick or a Shivas for himself.
Yeah, probably will see him go for some sort of mana-intensive items such as one of those two next. Definitely the Sheepstick will help a lot against Weaver and Spectre, so could be a nice item there. And right now, Sentinel, their heroes are farming a lot more than Scourge. Scourge, all the farm going to those two heroes, the Spectre, the Weaver, and that's making this Tide, AA, and Chen very limited in what they can do.
He does have that Divine Rapier. They are going in. Tide gets off a great ulti. Crystal Maiden immediately dies. Venomancer gets his ult off, running away, trying to survive. Slardar is going for the kill. There's the Ghost Scepter on the Tide Hunter. That ulti from Darkseer making such a big difference here, and Slardar is dropping heroes, but it's just not going to be enough here. The Butterfly, the Cheese, neither the Aegis are going to drop here, and I think the entire Scourge team is alive, except for, yeah, everybody is alive. Nobody has died there. It just wasn't enough.
While they can't kill that Slardar, what they can do is just right-click that rack. Those Raxes are a lot squishier than the Slardar, so they're quite happy just to ignore the Slardar, do a bit of damage, watch him run away, and then take out that Rax. And we will see the GG being called by the Sentinel team, as all their efforts, their best efforts, are not going to be enough here to beat the might that is Spectre.
Yeah, but wow, holy crap, they may be able to pick off all these heroes here. At the very least, they will get that Ancient Apparition. I feel like the Slardar should be hitting a little bit harder, considering he has that Rapier, but maybe something like an AC. Will they go after the Weaver there? I think they're going to back off. They have called GG, but they did a really good job. We thought this game was going to be over 20 minutes ago at least. So in that sense, good job to the Sentinel team holding it off.
Yeah, absolutely. They played it very well, and I think they played it very well late. I think they actually could have. They had a chance to win this game early. They needed to put pressure more effectively on the Scourge team. As mentioned, they needed those arcane boots, that mech up for their pushes. They were just pushing without any kind of regen. Their heroes had no mana in the middle of pushes, and if they'd actually got those sort of core items up a lot earlier, well, just up at all. Like, some of the heroes never end up getting any of these items. It would have been a lot easier for them to actually push.
You got a Divine Rapier Tide Hunter, man. Watch out. He's going to blink ulti and slap somebody. His attack speed isn't too fantastic. He does just have power treads, but that's going to absolutely seal the deal. And even the fact that they did have a Rapier and didn't just dominate them really surprises me. Almost every time you see a Rapier, it's in those scenarios when you already have a huge advantage. So, surprisingly, it did not change the game.
No, this is so late in the game that all these heroes have such high armor and are just so durable. I mean, you get items like Ghost Scepter on the Tide Hunter, it just becomes not quite as effective as you'd like it to be.
And they have 2 towers left before this game is over. Sentinel team is hiding in their base, apparently not willing to quit the game. Even see the pipe up. And there's the last good wall. We get to see some good times there. So many illusions all over the place. Rasta getting killed through his BKB. Daedalus on the Weaver, so much damage. Butterfly Daedalus, man, that is such good damage. Especially on a hero like Weaver.
No, absolutely. That's, I mean, who needs Radiance when you can have those sort of items? And Weaver played this game very well. Got that Vanguard pipe up very quickly and actually got some decent farm. And just great play overall from this Scourge team.
Yeah. So very good win there for the Spin. It's going to be the first winners that we've casted so far tonight. We have a bunch more games coming for you guys shortly after this. So just stay tuned for a little bit and we'll be right underway with the next games.